Hi everyone, it's Tiny Tom Logan. Today we're going to take a look at the Coolermaster Cosmos, I'm going to call it, C700M. Now you may think to yourself, you've already done a C700. Well, this is kind of the absolute top of the range version with all the bells and whistles, all the gizmos, addressable RGB lighting. You can turn it off though. But there's some other really cool stuff in there, like a pretty bonkers GPU stand. Yes, that's my GPU up there. So before we have a look at what I've done with it already, although you can kind of already see a glimpse of it, I want to show you the inside, the way it arrives. Then we'll talk about the kind of options that you can have with the case for layout, because you can turn it all around and all over the place. And I'll talk to you about the stuff that I've done and then all the options with the lights and all that sort of stuff as well. So it is a pretty big case, but rather than doing the clunky, moving it around kind of review that I would normally do, we're going to give this version a try and we'll see how you guys like it. This case is so infinitely customizable that I did just want to show you the way you're going to get it when it first comes out of the box and all the things, because I'm now going to have to take this apart and strip it and make something funky looking for you guys to all see. So I'm actually filming this way before I do the rest of the review, but you can see that you get your vertical adjustable mount over here for your GPU. Then here you have a mount for a 2.5 inch solid state drive or 2.5 inch drive. There are two more up here as well, as you can see. And then two mechanical mounts. Now these are all modular, so you can take them off and move them around and put them wherever you want. So you get three 2.5 inch drives on this side, plus a couple of mechanicals. These are all available separately, by the way, so if you want to fill this up with mechanicals, you can probably get 5 in there, I think, easily, maybe 6 at a push. At the top you do get a mount for an optical drive if you're still using one of those. And then, but like I said, all of this is movable, so you can change it all around and it's all higgledy-fuggledy, and we are going to do that. I'm going to do a funky build with it where we're going to move everything around. But then round the back, and this is one of the reasons why I did want to show you this. So if you have a look, you've got two solid-state drive mounts here, or two 2.5 inch drive mounts. This can be unscrewed, and this is it's like your fan controller, basically. So you do have to bang some power in this, and it means that you can link all the fans in. But look at the cables routing down the side here. It's so nice. I think it's only really these fans that let it down when you first get it. I'd probably end up buying extensions so that I could make these all like so much tidier. But like I said, this is all customizable, so you can undo the motherboard tray and you can move it all around. It's just so nice. You can move all the power supply around as well. There's another back that we got with it which completely blanks this off so that you can have the motherboard the other way round, and then cables pop out a gap in the top. It's just, you can do so much with it. It really depends on how long you want to spend taking it apart and then redoing it, which is kind of what we are going to do now. Right, so, case. You've obviously seen that you can take it apart. I've also shown you I'm going to show you that you can turn this case around so many different ways. To be honest with you, it's the type of thing that I would suggest, and this is the same for the C700P and the M. It's the type of thing where you kind of need to get a bit brave, and you need to be willing to take it apart a few times and retry where you would like to put stuff. Now I will say, with the way that we've done it this way just to show you that you can spin the motherboard around one way and you can have the cables coming out the back, exactly the same as with the old one. With the GPU though, technically the GPU should be at the front. Now all I've done with it going through the back is quite literally held it up to the mesh and then used the bolts that I would have fitted the actual adjustable stand with anyway, and just bolted it in the back. But you can have it in many other places as well, because you can have it in the bottom, you can have it angled, and you can have it at the front as well. We've done it at the back just to be a bit different, and also because our motherboard rotation is that way round, it gives you a better look. And then also the other thing is, if you're going to be sat by the side of your case, I can see the GPU better at the back. And it would be my only kind of minimal gripe that I think Coolermaster could have included this in the interchangeable back panel is just a couple of little thread holes in the mesh so that you could have done it this way. Doesn't really matter though, because if you're any kind of modder and the sort of type of person that's going to take stuff out and move it all around, it's really such a simple thing. And have a play with it, but also have a play with it, putting it in all different locations. Just remember, if you're going to do it, be careful with your riser cable, because you do get one with the C700M. I'm kind of ending up, this is going to end up like a guide for someone that's actually bought it, but you do get a riser cable in it, and you do get the bonkers stand. It's amazing. I really like that because it does make life so much easier. But go careful with the riser cable. Don't do any firm flats, folds. Make sure you keep it all nice and curvy and look after it. Treat it, I'm trying to think of innuendo stuff there, but literally just be so gentle with it, because if you do fold it or bend it and break the traces inside, you'll either get a huge loss in performance, or you can start to get blue screen errors. Sometimes you get some video errors. And I'm saying that to be very, very clear, like properly careful with it, because if you are a bit in a rush, like I have been with some of the ones that I've done in the past, then you, like I said, you do end up starting to get issues. You can go back and try and find the videos where the vert cables had issues with stuff that's going on the screen. So it's addressable RGB this time. They dance all over the place. There's so many options. You do get a button at the top. And one thing that you do need to realise is you can click up, but then it stops right at the very end. So it goes up through the cycles, and then I think it's at the top, it gets to red, and then it stops completely. You can then, though, press the other side, because it's like a rocker switch. And if you press the rocker switch the other way down, then basically what that then does, it goes back down through the cycles, and the very bottom one is whatever the motherboard software is set to. So that's pretty cool as well. The fact that you can have literally a setting for the motherboard if you've got it, and it is right at the very bottom. And by the bottom, I mean the very bottom of the switch. But if you haven't got like an Asus Sync motherboard, it doesn't matter. You can use the other options with the case. I would like to see maybe some software from Coolermaster to be able to assign and make stuff dance and stuff. I've gone through all of my emails and all the stuff that they sent me about the case. I've not been able to find any mention of that. So maybe that's something that they'll do. It could be something that's out already and I'm being completely dim, and I will apologise to them in great lengths for it. Because they do have addressable software for the fans and stuff. So it's highly likely that works on this. And maybe I should have thought about that before filming, but it's quite late and I need to make sure this is done because the NDA is tomorrow. So, build of the case, lovely. It does weigh an absolute ton. The handles on them is slightly darker on these, and to be honest with you, I wish they were a bit black, if I'm honest, but it does sink in with the nice front on it, and there is a really nice perforated roof that goes on it now as well. Now, like I said, you can move everything around, dance everything around, so you need to be willing to have a play with that. Something else that they've done to make it different is they've actually made the windows, the glass windows for it now, or the doors, whatever you want to call it. These are a slightly lighter shade of tint, or a slightly lighter tint. I would say that they could probably go a little bit lighter still. I'd also say I don't particularly think they should withhold a lighter tint for the more expensive case. You kind of want a little bit of a lighter tint for all of the cases, because otherwise what's the point in having a window? So I agree, not clear all the time. A little bit of a grey tint on it would be, would be Salt Bay. So you get the GPU stand. That's a bit different. Well, it's a lot different. You get 3-pin addressable RGB rather than the normal RGB, which is 4-pin. You get a lot more hard drive covers, which I've already shown you. One thing I will show you as well is we've actually used our SSD covers and like the reservoir kind of mounts and all that sort of stuff to cover up the cables on the inside, and they do a pretty good job of it. So to be honest with you, with the way this is, I would actually say no matter, I'm keeping Salt Bay, no matter what you do, use those covers to cover that up, because it makes a lot of difference, cleans all the lines up, and I don't think most people are going to want to use all of them anyway. Or if you do, you can just use those ones and have it there like that. So that's a really nice kind of little tip. The people are going to ask, what about the cooler that we've got in it, yes, it's a TR4 cooler. It's the new 360mm one, because we did use a Threadripper in this, and it is, yes, it is the new Strix RX280 that's in there. I just used kind of current kit so that you can get an idea for what's going on. Airflow in it, lovely. With the we've obviously, the thing is we have changed all the fans because we did a nice custom build with it. But what you get is a fan controller, and the thing with a fan controller is if you want it quieter, you can turn the fans down a bit. If you want it to have better airflow, you can turn the fans up a bit. It's really simple, and it's all going to depend. If you're spending this much money on a case, you're probably going to be hoiking all the fans out and putting your own ones in there anyway. So it's all going to depend on the choices that you've got. Airflow in it is good. It's a Cosmos. There's plenty of airflow down through the front. There's a bit down at the bottom as well. It's, you know, at the end of the day, it is what it is. If you want, you can completely invert the whole airflow and have it dragging airflow up through the bottom and chucking it out the top. The world is your lobster with this one, essentially, and I don't really want to kind of go around and around and around like millions. You get all the plates that you could possibly need. You get loads of hard drive covers. You get a lovely GPU mount that you can move around and mount all over the place. A huge riser cable, and they make it massive so that if you do end up doing something mental like I've done, you don't actually have to have the riser cable going over the motherboard. You can have it going around the back. So there's loads of things that they've done. You get the extra plate for the back. It's pretty much like, you've seen the table full of stuff that you get with it. It's mental. So it's not cheap, but it is pretty much the ultimate Cosmos. And it's one of those weird ones where, I'm not being funny, once we started playing around with the lights, and I could show you light features for this case from now until Sunday, because we kept playing with it and kept messing around with it. Most of it was trying to get that flipping GPU working, and we don't know why. It's not the riser cable, because we've had it in the board. We just can't get the GPU syncing with the motherboard. So that's Asus software issues. Not starting a war, I'm just saying it's something that we've not been able to get playing nice with it. But we had it all dancing around with green stuff, and we had it playing with music. And it was just like, when all the case is all interlinking doing it, and there's quite a lot more with the case, because obviously it's all up the front, all over the top, and all down the sides. This RGB LED, by the way, we added this ourselves. This doesn't come with the case. You've also got another one there. There's RGB LED fans all over the place. How many have I got in there? 6. There's 9 RGB fans in there. Coolermaster ones, all synced up going on in there. It does look rather pretty when the lights are off. And you've got it all shining all over the ceiling and stuff like that. Don't forget though, with a flick of a switch, you can turn it off. So it's not the sort of thing you don't have to lose your mind about it. We just did it so it was all nice and pretty, and to give you an idea on what you could do with the case. So my ideas about the case is I actually really like it. I can see this being built up as a temporary rig. I say the temporary rig, but the secondary rig in the office, because the lighting on it is all really nice. And it's sad to say it, but there is a white H500 on the desk at the moment, and it's been kind of slowly working its way behind the monitor in the corner, because I think this one is going to end up replacing it. Might even stay with a bit of Threadrip going on as well, or maybe a 2070, but we will see. We will see. This is all stuff that's going to adapt and evolve in the future. So long and short of it is, it's the ultimate Cosmos. No, it's not cheap, but at the end of the day, you get so much stuff with it and so many options. If you've already got a Cosmos, one thing I would say is the options that you have, you can buy the bits that you want so separately, and they are going to be available on the Coolermaster store as well. And I can see a lot of people buying the GPU stand and the riser cable for even to retrofit into other cases. So there's some ideas for the modders out there. But if you've already got a Cosmos and you really want this one with all the bits and bobs, by the time you've added it on, you're probably going to save yourself some money selling the case on eBay or to a mate or someone in your guild or your clan or something, and then buying another one. Do I think that you should? I think that the original Cosmos is very, very good. I'm not sure whether I'd personally want to go through all the rigmarole trying to sell another one, but it's going to be the cleanest and probably the cheapest way of going about it by the time you've added on doors and all that sort of stuff. Or you could just go and buy the GPU riser card and cable thingy, what's Medufa, because that's really, other than the addressable RGB, is probably the biggest thing. But if you have to have your lights being able to dance around and going all over the place, you don't really have a lot of choice. But long and short of it is, I saw it at Computex and I really liked it there. The design with the brush along the front and the fact everything kind of all sinks in and it fits in with the Coolermaster ecosystem. I'm actually starting to get pretty excited about where things are going with these now. But I don't want to start a whole video about, you know, me talking about the future and all of that sort of stuff. But the C700M is an epic case, and if you're one of those people that like the way that the Cosmos looks and what you can do with it and all of that sort of stuff, then to be honest with you, if you're spending the sort of money that you need to buy an RTX and that sort of stuff, it actually makes it seem quite cheap. But I really like it, and that's why OC3D Enthusiast Award.